in this second part video, I hit the stop button by mistake, so I make these two parts. In this particular video, we're going to combine range names with the count and the count A. And the count and the count A are going to take a range of values and it's going to count them. And we'll talk about what the count and the count A does in a moment. So the first thing I want to do is I want to actually name this range because we're going to use a range in the count. So I'm going to just select all of this. And you can see that it's multiple screens. So I'm going to name this AMT ode. So in the first part, the first example, we did, go back to it. In this first part, we created range names for the cost per gallon and the discount rate. So in this part, we're going to actually create a range of cells and we're going to give that a name. So we have two functions that are going to count. The first one is just simply count. So we're going to do this members not paid. So we're going to equal count, and this is going to count a range or number of range. Notice there are multiple values. So this is going to be amount owed. Now, the count, this simply counts numeric, let me spell it right, numeric values. So if you look at this, we have some values that are paid, and it's not counting those because those are not numeric. So the count, this is the function, so let me just put that here, the equal count function just simply counts just those cells that have a numeric value. What we want to use next is equal count A. This will count any entry, both text and numeric. So let's see how that works. So it's again equal count, and I want to go down to count A, and we'll do the same thing, amount owed, and we'll hit enter. You'll see that there's more to there because there are 5 paid. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So those are all been paid. So just to recap, the count function counts just numeric values. If it's anything other than numeric, now that can be a function, that can be a formula, as long as its results is numeric. The count A will count any entry. Now I'm going to go through here and I'm going to find this paid one, this one right here for Talcott, and I'm just going to delete it. Now watch what happens to the 35. That should change. It changed to 34. So let me just undo that. Now this is a good example. We can now find the percent who has paid. And when you create formulas, you can incorporate functions, just like you can create formulas within functions. So we're going to just, instead of taking, which we could do, E6 divided by E8, which is the total, we're going to build this into a function. So I wouldn't have to do that. So I'm going to do equal count, and this will be amount owed. And I'm going to close that. And then I'm going to do the arithmetic, which is the divide. And then I'm going to do the count A, because that just shows everything. Again, amount owed. So the count function will count numeric. The count A function will count everything. So I hit enter, and I get 0.88. Let's go back here, and let's just put the percent sign, and we'll add a couple of decimals. So in this example, we did 2 things. The main thing was to name this range. So if I go up to the name box, and I choose amount owed, you see all the names. Click on amount owed, and it will show and list those cells that we selected. Now here was just a page and a half. It could be 10 screens, very, very large database, 600 entries if you want. Here I just did one column, but you can do, remember, a range can be a combination of rows and columns. I'll just select this. There's nothing there. We'll call this example. Just an example range. So I'll hit enter. Just click somewhere else, and I'll go up here to example range, and you can see that you can do multiple columns and multiple rows. This can become very helpful when you do functions that require very large databases, and that database might be in a different worksheet. Because you'll notice, let me go over to the formulas and the name manager. That example range name, let's go to edit, and you will see that it is the count and count A worksheet. You see that down here. And it includes that actual range of cells. So that can be very helpful. So if I click on the array again, and then I go up to the name, and I choose example range, that will bring me back to the worksheet, the count and the count A worksheet, along with, and select those cells. So that is working with a little more advanced range names.